been dancing with all over the neighborhood. So why didn't you ask me, baby? Or didn't you think I could? Well, I know that the boogaloo is out of sight, but the shing-a-ling's a thing tonight. But if that was you and me out there, baby, I would have shown you how to do it right. Do it right. Uh-huh. Do it right. Do it right. Do it right. Twist it. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, baby. Have it go loop-de-loop. Shake it out, baby. Have it go loop-de-lop. Bend over, let me see you shake your tail feather. Bend over, let me see you shake your tail feather. Come on, let me see you shake your tail feather. Come on, let me see you shake your tail feather. Twist it. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, baby. Have it go loop-de-loop. Shake it up, baby. Have it go loop-de-lop. Bend over, let me see you shake your tail feather. Bend over, let me see you shake your tail feather. Come on, let me see you shake your tail feather. Come on, let me see you shake your tail feather. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. Yeah, come on, baby. All right. Do the twist. Do the flop. Oh, do the swim. And do the bird. Well, do the duck. Do the monkey. Hey, what is it? And what about the fruit? Do the mashed potato. What about the boogaloo? Oh, the Rolly Maroni. Come on, let's do the twist. Twist it. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, baby.
Hey everybody, welcome to Goose's Disney Pod, and we are now finally into CGI. I'm your host, Ray Goose, live from New York, and joining me in California. Are you still in California?
I am still in California, Raymond.
Okay, I don't know. Everything's so chaotic. Is Luke Schwartz, my old friend from Broadway Comedy Club, The World. We used to
Yeah.
perform all over the world. The room, the basement, wherever. How you doing
Yes.
today, buddy?
Oh, I mean, gosh, so well, Raymond. You know, it's just a really great day, and what a nice, news cycle we're in. How are you?
I'm good. Just so everybody knows, this is going to come out like in 2-3 weeks from now, but it's this 20th of July. When I was recording episodes in March and April, I'm like, I shouldn't talk about Corona that much because it's probably going to go away by the time the episodes are out.
Nothing's
But no, it
gonna
hasn't.
change. No, we're staying the course, mama.
We're staying the course. Now, have you performed stand-up yet since the virus shut everything down?
No, I have not. And what an itch it is.
Okay. I finally did my first show back last Friday in Astoria.
I saw you post about it because there's nothing that you don't post about.
Yeah, you can pretty much, if you don't know me, you can probably much keep up. One time somebody
Mhm.
said something to me that I never met before about my life, and I'm like, well, how do you know that? He goes like, oh, you post about it on Facebook. I go, oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah,
I was like,
you live a very public life, Raymond.
well, I don't hide anything.
I really like, there are some rants you go on of like this like obscure DC character, and it gets maybe 2 likes, but then like you'll post like a 1-sentence thing that'll get like 50 or 60 likes, and I'm like, just stick with what works, Raymond.
I know. Well, I go to Twitter. I'm trying to up my Twitter game, and I go to Twitter and I'll post about comic books.
Twitter's my favorite one.
Oh, you follow me on Twitter?
No, I said I like Twitter.
Oh, you like Twitter. I'm trying to get more in Twitter, but I can't get my personality across on Twitter. I just get into fights with people on Twitter.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah. Twitter, I can't get my persona across. Facebook, you get to know who I really am.
Well, yeah, there's no interrupting. There's no character limit, so he's
I know
just
there's no.
rambling.
I can't have this. I can't have these character limits. No, like I like to talk, you know. I like to
Mhm.
bullshit.
I've always really liked this part of your personality where you're like a born and bred New Yorker. You're like a forget about it kind of guy. I'm walking here.
Yeah.
And then you're also into like this like nerdy like Disney and like kids movies and like comic book stuff. And it's like it's such a weird juxtaposition, the two things. It's like, hey, you fucking kidding me with Green Lantern over here? It's like I don't know where your wavelength is,
Well, it's all over the place.
Ray.
Well, the reason I started this podcast was I wanted to start a podcast a year ago. I bought all this equipment, and I really didn't want to. I don't want to do a podcast where comedians are just like bitching about the comedy business. Even though I think we're about to bitch about the comedy business in 3 seconds, but I wanted to do a unique hook and something that people would go back and listen to the archives. And so I figured, let me review every Disney film. And the archives
It's
are
a
boring.
great idea.
Yeah.
And it's a bummer. I have no hook for my podcast, and boy, is it not successful.
What is your podcast?
It's it started as a late night talk show that me and my co-host did. So it's the late night podcast, but it's L8. So it's the L8 night.
Oh, I like that. I like that thing.
It's fine. It's just a conversation, and I'm really funny in it, so it's cool.
Yeah, I mean, this is doing way better than my wrestling podcast, but I just do my wrestling podcast every night just to stay sharp. That was my way of like giving myself.
You do a wrestling podcast every night?
Yeah, there's wrestling on TV every night. So every night, me and my friend Andrew do a podcast about it.
My goodness. Well, yeah. I not gonna listen.
No, don't listen. Well, but here's the deal. I'm glad I did it because when I went on stage, I didn't feel. And I know it's not the same thing, but I didn't feel like rusty because I feel like every night I'm doing something. Mm-hmm. That's why I started doing this podcast about wrestling every night. Because at least every night I'm performing to, I don't know, I think I have 20 listeners to the wrestling podcast, for these 20 people.
Nice.
So I didn't really feel out of sorts where I feel like a lot of comedians were nervous and freaking out. It's well, I've never stopped.
Do you have diehard Goots fans, Goots heads?
I used to when I had my web series with the girls, and but I didn't realize they were more fans of the girls. So
you didn't when you weren't in it at all? Weren't you not in that?
No, I wasn't in that. But people were that I realized these people are just picking first because they want to meet the girls. Never mind.
Yeah, I think
I do have some fans. No, actually, when I got fans and I hooked up with one girl was I did Guys We Fucked. With Corinne Fisher. I got actually, a girl was messaging me last night that I'm friends. Yeah, I got a bunch of.
What a sex positive show, huh?
Yeah, when I lost my virginity, that's when the fans. I didn't
know it was from them. That's great.
Yeah, I have a lot of fans from that. Then I did Keith and the Girl. Have you ever heard of that podcast?
Yeah, one of the first podcasts.
Oh, I thought you said one of the first. I thought you were on the podcast. That I had a bunch of haters. So when I did Corinne Fisher's podcast, because I don't know, did you see that I lost my virginity at the Bunny Ranch?
I think I knew that vaguely. I think I kind of remember you paid for it, but it's whatever.
Yeah. Well, after my dad died, I was like,
that's right.
I do want to get married and start a family, and I was dating girls, and me not having sex was a big thing. Nobody wanted to take the plunge.
Hey, forget about it, Ray. Don't worry.
So I was like, I looked at it like a surgery. I just gotta get. But anyway, Corinne Fisher was totally cool with it, and because she was put me in a positive light. I actually hooked up with some girls off that podcast. Then I did Keith and the Girl, and I told the same fucking story. And they acted like I was some fucking weirdo. And wow, it's really weird. You live with your parents, so you were 35, and I'm like, well, they're dead now, so I'm never gonna have to live with them ever again.
No one is.
No one's. Yeah. So I live alone now, so I'm not a loser anymore because they're fucking dead. So you know what? You're right. I should have moved out when I was 18 and just not spent the last 12 years of their lives with them. And let them fucking be alone and miserable and then just die. You know what? You're right.
That sounds like a good plan to me.
Yeah. So I got a lot of haters off that podcast. And I just...
Wow.
Yeah. It's all about how you betray people. But you know what? You're going to get fans off this. Luke.
Yes.
Let me ask you about you. How long have you been doing stand-up?
Oh, man. Are you going to ask me who my guys are? You're going to marry me?
Oh, who's your favorite? No, I'm going to... I guess some other questions to ask you. I've known you for a long time. I think you've known each other now for 10 years.
Yeah, that's right. A decade even.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And this is the longest period of my life that I haven't done stand-up, and I think that's true for a lot of stand-ups.
Yeah. true for me. But when did you start doing stand-up?
When did I start? I've never really stopped or started. I've always been performing, Ray. Just
Like
out and
God?
about. You put on your mask, but not the mask for everything, but your face, and you perform for the world when you walk out onto the street.
Okay, so
I
you've
don't
been
know. In 2010 is when I started.
Okay, so when I met
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
How old are you now? You don't mind me asking.
I'm very young and castable.
I know that, but like I remember you being super young in 2010. So what were you, like 12?
Yeah, I am 32 now.
Oh, okay, so you're still super young.
No,
No,
I'm
it's
over
over
the
now?
hill, baby. Holly Weird is giving me the boot.
In LA, can I tell you I asked for a Montreal audition when I was 28. They told me I was too old when I was 20 fucking 8.
Yeah, you're over the. Yeah, I mean, you're not a prodigy. You can't have you.
Yeah, 28. Yeah, it's
If
too
you
late.
work on your craft for years and years, it's too late for you, bro.
It's too. Oh, you got good? It's too late.
Yeah,
too
we
late.
want you when you're young and like too cocky to know how much you need to learn.
Can I tell you, when I started working out last year, I got more attention from bookers than whenever I killed. When I started like getting like in real shape. Did you see like I started getting in super shape?
Yes, I remember those posts.
Yes, I made a ton of those. But like I started getting like really like, oh, I want to see your like a video, and then like I said to my trainer, you know what? I've realized it's not as good. It's not whether or not you kill. It's just your presentation look wise would have these fucking people, which is sad when you think about it. But like, if they can't see you, if they can't fill a casting role for you, they don't want to like fuck with you. But
yeah, I think I ride that handsome, not handsome line. Like people don't really know like where to put me because I just have kind of like no definition, but I'm not ugly.
like you could be like,
I've got a weird look that people are like, I don't.
like
They're
if
very
I was
on the
casting,
fence.
if I was casting,
And
a
then my
superhero,
off-putting personality is like another thing.
if I was casting like a show like CSI, you'd be the guy in the lab that like says to them, like, I examined the test results and there were 5 killers, not 3. You know?
Oh, that's really nice. Usually I get the serial killer role,
No,
but
I would have you as the guy
from the fake casting. That's really nice. Thank you, Ray.
And then like like you give the briefings at the meetings and like, okay, the guy we're looking for is, and then I don't know who's the guy. Chris Maloney takes the paper.
I like your stereotypical Jewish voice. That is my voice in your head.
You have the lab coat
We're
on.
actually looking for.
Guys, we're looking for a black man. What a surprise! No, I'm joking. That's racist. Anyway, so what got you into stand-up, man?
Oh, comedy's just so funny, you know?
What about it? What'd you say?
Ray kind of drifted on his own podcast there. That's how.
No, you said something, and the thing cut out, and I thought you were about to go into a speech, and then you just stared at me. So.
Yeah, that was the bit. I always was watching comedy. I knew I was going to do it from when I was like very young. In 6th grade, I did a Bill Cosby routine for a talent show. R.I.P. Bill Cosby. But like he like I just did it word for word, and that was like my first like. And I was like, I want to. This is it. I want to do it.
That's good. So I've kind of had it in my head. You know, it's funny. I did the same thing. I auditioned for the role of a bad guy in a high school play, and I used Chris Rock, one of his bits. I don't know which one.
Don't tell me it was the N-word versus black.
I hope
people.
it wasn't that bad. I don't think it was. I think even in 1998, people. It's so funny when people go like, "Oh, when they're catching all these shows that had blackface," and like, "Well, it was a long time ago." I go, "Dude, it was 2004. People already knew." you know?
Yeah.
But I don't think it was. I think it was the one about taking care of your kids.
The keep her off the pole.
Like I take care of my kids. You're supposed to take care of your kids because that was me and my mom's favorite bit. Like, like what are you bragging? Like, that bit. You're supposed to take care of your kids.
Yeah. Right. Yes. You do it great.
Listen, I actually wrote it for Chris Rock when I was 8.
Yeah, but I mean, he has such a delivery,
I mean, I used to do his voice. I don't want to do. I think I did his voice too, but I got the role. So fuck you.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
And they were like, "This is really a bad guy."
Yeah, this is really what a great Chris Rock impression. But you're right. You did Bill Cosby. At least I was a little bit more hipper.
I didn't do an impression.
You
I
just
just
did
did
the
it
bit?
I just did the bit in my voice, and
You didn't do the
I
dance
don't,
afterwards?
no, I didn't do any Jello pudding pop motion with my head of like tasty stuff. I remember like I had exactly the right pauses, and I memorized. It was 2-3 minute bit maybe,
Okay.
and I remember pausing for a laugh that never came, and I was like, well, they should be laughing. I did this perfectly. I don't know why they're not laughing. What's wrong with them?
Yeah, that's funny. Now, are you from Ohio? Did I make that up?
You made that up. Yeah, I'm from
Okay.
Los Angeles. I'm better
Oh,
than everybody.
so what made you move to New York when I met you in New York?
I went to SUNY Purchase.
Oh, that's a school. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. How'd
And
you like it
then
there?
it was great. It was a
What?
public school just outside the city, and it was a very serious school for a lot of other things, but not what I studied. So I just kind of coasted by and kind of like graduated in my 4 years, and then started stand up.
Yeah. And then I met you at the World. What you were? Did you
Hmm.
bark at the World, or they just put you on?
Oh, I barked for 3 years, Raymond.
Oh wow. Okay.
I
Yes, you
didn't know
did.
how to start doing stand up, so I looked on Craigslist for just comedy. I didn't know what to do, and of course, the World had advertised on Craigslist like, "Come perform stand up. All you have to do is sell some tickets." And I was like, "What could go wrong?" And then nothing did.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Did you remember like we had the Misfit crew we had like we would go out after I remember like I really wasn't doing stand up a lot for like
Were
my first
you a barker with me?
no
I don't remember you barking.
Aaron Haber heard I did stuff at Caroline's and he basically just threw me spots
Hmm.
when I on my days
Yeah,
off.
there was a funny little bad crew of stand-ups that were there for a little bit. That was like a fun time.
But I remember like we went out to drink and it was me, you, Jerry Shack, Corey, Tommy Comer, and I'm like, this is like a motley crew if I've ever seen one.
Yeah, and like all different kinds of white dudes.
But like it was
All
like
different ages of white dudes, all
the old
different
man,
kinds
the
of
young
white dudes.
kid. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
there was that weird black guy who got caught jerking off in the construction site. Do you remember that guy?
Oh yeah. I don't remember who
I don't remember his
that was.
name,
No.
but I think he admitted to you that like he got fired from construction. He was just jerking off in like the.
Yes. Yeah. It was the UPS driver. He was a UPS guy, and he was crazy, and he was bald, and he would yell on stage crazy shit all the time and be like super wild.
Yeah, and he would chase people out, and Haber would just keep bringing him back. I think he would bark for him. So he's like, "Oh, he barks."
Yeah, and he was like he was super buff and like, but he was just wild, just like crazy guy, like yelling everything all the time and just couldn't calm down. And yeah, he was. I haven't thought about him in years. That's
I
hilarious.
just remember because you said there's only white guys. I'm like, no, there was a black guy who would jerk off in his truck. So
Well, we hung Rasheem Russell. I don't know if he still does comedy, but he was a buddy there, and he's yeah.
There was I don't forget. I think P.D. Diablo did stuff around there now. Now he's like
Yeah, I barked with Adele Carollo, who was the booker for
the Stand.
The Stand. Yeah.
Oh, she doesn't book. She just. By the way, I've tried to bring up
Or
those
whatever.
old days to her, and she acts like she acts like I'm talking about something that never happened. Because she used to go out drinking with all of us. She doesn't remember.
Yeah. Well, she's always been cool to me when I got there. She's gotten me a spot or two.
Oh,
like,
she's always been cool
guesty.
to me too. But like, we
Yeah.
just hey, remember like the Aaron Haber day?
Yeah, she does act like, I mean, I'm sure she was traumatized by it, like a lot of us were. It is like a war memory for her.
Yeah, see, you guys had it tougher because like I think she would manage that place sometimes. See, I would just stroll in and get spots, then stroll out. So
Yeah, we like I've barked through 2 blizzards and 2 hurricanes.
Jesus.
Like the day, like ramping up days, like just desperate, and we still got people in, those idiots.
I still think like they had a falling out, and then Al Martin asked him to come back, and he said no. And I still think that was a huge mistake. I think he should still. I mean, I would say I think he would say I'm wrong.
He did that Kickstarter for that new club, and then he got like all this money, and then it folded, and then he moved to LA.
Well, listen, he was doing Zoom shows before anyone else was, so he was actually ahead of the curve.
Yes, that's right. He was. Yeah, he said your open mic will be broadcast to thousands of people, and
I look now. Have you done any Zoom shows, by the way?
No,
No.
no, I have not.
I've done like 2 or 3. I literally wanted to kill myself. I had to retire from Zoom.
I always say this about a Zoom show, like, well, I never bomb. That's not me. But like, if you do bomb, um, you like you don't get to go home afterward and shake it off. You like already are home. So like that my safe space, that I like retreat from the comedy world to is no longer that.
That's a great point because the last 2 Zoom shows I did, I even though I had good sets, I went for a walk. And I just realized
you have to like
right.
get it out of your system.
You have to walk away from where you were. Like, so I went for like a long walk both nights. You're right.
Yeah.
Now tell me, what was your childhood like? Like, were you a lonely
you
kid?
really are Mark Marining me.
It kind of is like it's kind of like that. It's a mixture of a lot of different.
Yeah,
podcasts.
That's like, what the fuck? How did this get made?
Yes,
That's what you're.
That's what I was just chasing with the podcast too. What the fuck? This is the edition.
Yeah. My childhood was fine.
Yeah, that's it. That's
Okay. It was fine.
Okay.
Normal.
You didn't get beaten, or
no.
Okay. Hit
no,
with a
like my dad was very. He would yell a lot, but then he kept going to therapy and got better over time. And and my mom was always there.
Sometimes I'll ask people this question and they go, and then like they'll reveal like they got raped or like their parents beat them or something, or like there was a divorce because the mom got raped, and I'm just like, Disney, like
it's your fault.
I know, I love it. I just want Tinkerbell to come down, like, well, I was raped when I was 7, and Tinkerbell flies out just to hit you with ding. And it's like, okay.
Yeah. I'm sure I got bullied, and I also was a bully. I was just at a normal, and then I had friends, and then not a lot and not a little.
Just
and and
now, what about cartoons? Were you into cartoons?
Hell yeah, I loved cartoons. Ninja Turtles was a big one for me.
Mm-hmm.
Simpsons, obviously, Futurama. I remember the first one or 2 seasons of Family Guy came out, and I was like, holy shit. And then it kept going, and I was like, holy shit, this is bad.
Well, those first 2 DVD sets I would watch till I was blue in the face. I've never
exactly.
Every episode since 2005 I've watched once, and I couldn't tell you an episode from 2005 on.
You watch so much shit. Like just the volume is crazy.
Well, I collect a lot. Some of the stuff I don't really watch, but I collect it. Like,
yes,
I have
but you've seen so much more than I have, and a lot of people. You just watch stuff.
Yeah, well, it's fun. I like it.
Yeah, good.
Hey, what's the deal? Were you into Disney at all as a kid? Did you like even as a little kid?
No. I always thought Disney was for little babies. And
even when you were a little baby.
Yeah, there are a few I liked, but like I had such an aversion to musicals. And
so you're not a musical guy.
Not at all. And speaking of, Hamilton just came out on Disney.
Oh, that's an abortion. I watched that. That was horrible.
I watched that I don't know if it's an abortion, but I watched it with my wife, and boy, did I hate it.
Oh, you're married now?
Yeah, dog. Huge flex. I'm married.
Okay. That was the same girl that you were with when you moved out. You moved back, right?
Possibly, yeah.
How long you been together with her?
This time 3 years.
Okay. All right. So, but
there's been a couple iterations of it, but like, let's talk.
But now you're married.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, congratulations.
I like Sword in the. Thank you very much. I'm wearing a ring, and it's like the first jewelry that I'm wearing that isn't a watch. It's just interesting.
Well, I know that you weren't into musicals because I remember one day you had like your iPod, and I'd be like, "What is that?" And you're like, "It's this music that has no rhythm." What were you listening to? Like,
I'm sure.
It sounded like a garbage
disposal. So cool. It was yeah. I'm sure it was like Venetian snares or something really weird.
Yeah, it was like some weird music. So I'm like, all right. Mm-hmm. So I get that you're not into like Let It Go from the Frozen soundtrack.
No, I've never seen that one. I have no use for it. I liked the Toy Stories as a kid. I liked the first 2. I just saw the third one like a month ago.
Third one's pretty good.
It's fine. It's for little babies, but yeah. Um, it's
I took a girl on a date to see Toy Story 3 in the theater.
yeah.
Yeah.
I believe you.
She married someone else now, so you know.
That makes sense.
That makes I don't know where
You
he took
date the
it.
guy. You go on a date to Toy Story 3. You marry the guy that takes you to 300.
Well, I don't know if it was. Well, she didn't know him when 300 was out, so I don't know.
I don't know. I just came up with a
Okay.
quote unquote.
Unless he dressed up like the guy from 300 and started fucking her.
Yeah, well, that'll do it.
Yeah. But yeah, but there were a ton of adults. It was like a big date night movie. There was a lot of people that didn't get laid that night.
Okay, keep being defensive, Ray. It's a good look for you.
Listen, that's why I didn't invite you on the Toy Story 3 podcast. I invited you for Chicken Little. Okay?
How did you choose Chicken Little for me? I thought you might have been going alphabetically, and then I just it's such a bad movie.
Well, hold on. I'll tell you what happened with Chicken Little. So when I was plotting out the podcast, I was like, oh, it's gonna be cool with like 101 Dalmatians and Cinderella, because a lot of people grew up on that. So it's easy to have a nostalgia podcast for those. But now I'm getting to 2005. 2005 was 24.
Are you going chronologically?
Yeah, so I started it with Snow White, which was 39, and now I'm in 2005. And I'm going to Frozen 2, which is 2019. And then I'm going to do all the Pixars. So that goes from Toy Story to onward. So we're going to go right to the pandemic. And then I'll see how the numbers are for the podcast. I might move to horror, or I might just keep going with the Disney theme. We'll see. Because Marvel counts as Disney, so I might just start doing all Marvel.
And a Star Wars, huh?
Star Wars. They own Alien, Predator now. Now that they own 20th Century Fox.
Wow. And The Simpsons.
Well, there's no movies. I can't. That's going to be a long podcast.
There's one movie.
There's one movie. You can come back for that. There you go. So there's a lot of different things. But how I came to you. Okay. So when I got to 2005 to 2008, I was like, I want someone who was a kid during this movie. So I asked this girl who was doing a bunch of my Monday Night Gooch shows. And she was like, sure. Yeah, I love Chicken Little. I grew up on that. She's like 22, I think, right?
Okay.
So I was like, okay, good. At least it'll be somebody who this movie is their childhood. So they'll have memories of it. Because this was not our childhood. I mean, it definitely wasn't.
No.
I was already too old for Montreal.
It's not.
I was already considered over the hill by the industry. But anyway.
But you're still watching kids' movies. I love it.
Hey, this is how I get back in. So I got banned from Caroline's. I got right before the pandemic. I got banned. They banned me from there.
Whoa! You were working there for
I wasn't
years?
Working there anymore. I had a show. There's a difference. You don't say what's his name.
Oh yes, I didn't know that
Sam Tripoli works at your place. He has a show there.
Yes. No, I didn't know that you no longer worked there.
No, I just had a show there on Mondays. So that's what made my trip to LA so cool, because I did Caroline's on a Monday, and then I did the store on Tuesday, which was really cool. It was really nice to be. But what happened was and I'd been always open that I hated being the manager there. I quit being the manager there in 2015 and went to stand up full time. And when I did Keith and the Girl, I complained about that I didn't like being the manager there, because they asked me, "Do you ever have fights with your mom?" And I go, "Yeah." I wanted to quit Caroline's years before I actually did, and she wouldn't let me. And I reenacted the fight with my mom, where I was like, "This place stinks. There's no money. I gotta." So anyway, well, hold on. The publicist Greg Charles, who always had a thing against me, played it for Lewis. And I said, Lewis, I'm talking about how I felt in 2014. I'm fine with the place now. It is what it is. And he got me, "You really hurt my feelings. Fuck you." And he hung up the phone on me. And they banned me. And I tried to explain to Lewis, I don't have a problem with the place now. I had a problem with the place in 2014. Can't you weren't that happy at the world, right?
I mean, I'm happy everywhere I go, every day.
Oh, shut up, you bitch! You do your fool. But I'm like, dude, but you know what? The joke's on them, because they don't know when they're ever gonna be able to reopen, and I fucking am gonna be fine. So fuck them.
I guess the joke's on them. I think the joke's on all of us, really.
Well, the joke's on the entire planet, but also them, because Broadway's shutting down, they may never be able to reopen. So
yeah.
Maybe you shouldn't ban someone who was. But anyway, as soon as I got banned, this girl could not have given less of a fuck to message me back. And I asked her twice, hey, what about Chicken Little? And no response. Oh, okay, just using me for spots. So then I was like, well, who is someone who's kind of young and might have grown up with this movie? And I don't remember your age. I was like, well, he was super young in 2010. And I'm like, Luke Schwartz. I have a good rapport with him. So that's how you got Chicken Little. Very long story.
Yeah, really long to give me such a bad movie.
So you
bad,
did not
Ray.
like Chicken Little
I didn't like it at all.
at all. Not a single
I
redeeming quality.
thought there were one or two jokes that were fine, but it was really poorly done and like very little plot, like very weird. Like it was just
Well, the plot goes all over the place.
it's so not important, and the father-son thing is not that important either. It's just a very just loosely connected scenes where there are some jokes, and like I recognized a lot of voices in it. I thought it was John Mulaney at first, but it was Zach Braff.
No, John Mulaney. It was, I think, it just an intern at Comedy Central at that time.
Yeah, but it sounded like it was Zach Braff doing, and he's supposed to be a little kid, and there's like a point where he's like singing and stuff, but he's like clearly a man.
Oh yeah.
Like a man's voice is like talking a lot of the time. It's very odd to me.
Well, let me give you some background on this movie, because this is a weird one. So, Pixar, Disney have an agreement where Disney will distribute their films.
Is this a Pixar movie?
No, it's not. This is the background. So Pixar is kicking ass. They are making like adult, like Monsters Inc. Have you ever seen Monsters Inc?
The movie?
Yeah. Okay, that's a pretty good one. So Toy Story, like the thing about the
one's
Pixar,
fine. Yeah.
Yeah, they're movies for kids, but they're enjoyed by adults, and they have adult humor, and it's not like dirty adult, but it's adult humor, and they're kicking ass. Meanwhile, Disney is making these 2D films like Brother Bear and Treasure Planet and Home on the Range, which we covered and shit on the last 3 weeks on the podcast, and they're really like they're 2D animation. They're very corny. No, they're all bombing. And the deal with Pixar is about to come up in 2005. And Pixar was going to go with another company. Remember, Disney didn't own them yet. They were like, you know what? This deal we have with you guys isn't working. We want more money. Our movies are propping you up. So I think Chicken Little was Disney's being like, fuck you. We don't need you. We can make our own Pixar movie.
And they can't.
And they can't. It was a fucking disaster. And that's when they just bought
really
Pixar.
Bad.
Yeah. That's when they just were like, we'll just buy you.
That makes sense. It's really the animation looks like friggin'. Did you ever play like a video game like Putt, like the math like car?
Yeah.
Game?
Mm-hmm.
It looks like that. It looks like a VeggieTales movie.
Well, it was shocking how ugly the character models were.
It's and like it's at a time where it's very much there's better animation out there. Like
you mean talking about 2005?
Yeah, I think, right?
Yeah, because that's when the movie came out. Yeah,
when did Toy Story come out? Because that
1995.
Looked way better. Yeah, that looked so much better than this movie that came out a decade later. Well, and like everything's like like nothing really like they're walking, but they're not quite right with the environment. It's bad, man.
Yeah,
it's done poorly.
The funniest thing is I had never seen Cars until I got ready for this podcast, and I saw Cars. And Cars came out 6 months after this movie. And I don't like Cars movie. I think it's fucking stupid. But the animation in the first Cars film is incredible, especially when you compare it to this piece of shit. It's like, how is Pixar putting out... You can say what you will about the Cars as a movie, and I think it's a horrible movie, and I think it's a stupid fucking movie. But the backgrounds and the way the cars move, and it's just, it looks amazing. Like,
all these birds in this movie had teeth. That really weirded me out. I didn't like that at all. There was like all this toothy birds, and I was just like, that's not chickens.
What about
I didn't understand the turkey mayor.
The turkey mayor. Well, that was Don Knotts, so I kind of like that.
But I didn't understand why it was presented like his Secret Service agents were like controlling him, and it was like kind of like he was a puppet for the wolves, or was it like it's poorly shown? Well,
let's break down the plot. Let's do this real quick. We'll go beat by beat and we'll talk about it. So the movie starts with this little Chicken Little. By the way, what happens if he has a growth spurt? Anyway, He was ringing the town bell, because I guess you have to ring the town bell when something happens, even though they have cell phones and they have everything else. You got to ring the town bell.
It is. I mean, it's presumably 2005 in this movie.
In this animal world, yeah. Well, they had movie theaters and cars.
But he rings the bell, and maybe like 20 people. There's only like 20 people in this huge town that all like stay in a clump.
Yeah. And he says the sky is falling, because a piece of sky did fall. And everyone in the town is like, you're a fucking idiot. And they laugh at him. And it goes
viral.
It goes viral for 2005. They can make a movie and plates. He basically becomes a laughing stock. And his father is cool with it. Like, fuck you.
No, his father is super embarrassed by it. His father hates it.
I know, but if that was my son, I'd be like, hey, you know what? Stop fucking picking on him. He doesn't really ever stand up for his son.
Well, no, his son is causing mayhem in the town. His son sucks.
His son's mentally ill at that point. I would assume that. His son was like, the sky is falling. But they even make a movie about how dumb the kid is. I mean...
and everyone goes to see it. They have the world premiere in his little town.
Yeah, and they make plates about him. And anyway, so he goes to school, and there's the ugly duckling, who's also based on a fairy tale.
Mm-hmm.
He loves
Ugly Duckling makes sense, but like Fish Out of Water is just a character, probably the best character. But like,
yes, thank you.
But like, the name is stupid. Fish Out of Water.
It was all like. It was like the runt of the little litter is the fat pig. It was. I think they were all. There was
like Donkey Lonky and like Oinky Woinky or whatever. Were all the like Piggly Wiggly were all the names of these, and then it was Fish Out of Water. And I was like, hey, come on.
Yeah, it was like all like these animals.
They didn't try at all. That's what makes the Pixar movie much better too. Is like all the details are much better.
Well, I wonder, was there a character called the Early Bird? How did they sleep on that?
I don't know.
The Early Bird catches the worm.
Yeah. They slept on a lot of things.
They slept on a lot. So he goes to school. They're mean to him in gym class. At least the bully's female. That was very progressive.
Yeah, I thought she was great, though. There was this fox with braces, and she was like a star friggin' athlete, man. She got, and it was billed like she was the bad guy when she's like thriving. Yeah,
she was really good. And Chicken Little decides that he's going to try out for the baseball team. So at this point, I'm like, I thought this was about a conspiracy about the sky. Now this fucking kid's gonna go for the baseball team.
I knew there were the first genre on this on the description is disaster, and then it's family, and then something. There's no it's not that.
Yeah. And then the dad basically tells him, "Don't try out for baseball because you're a fucking loser."
His dad was a big baseball star.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So he's like, I want to make my dad proud. So I'm not going to listen to the coach.
Yeah, I'm going to try for baseball. And the dad is like, basically like, no, son, don't do that. You're not going to be good. And they play like a really, they do a
He is the size of a baseball, this chicken.
He's really little. And then they played a Simon & Garfunkel cover version of Simon & Garfunkel song.
They also played the Bare Naked Ladies like came up, and my wife goes, "Is that Bare Naked Ladies?" And
yes,
I hit the Shazam on the phone, and it's like I thought I was like, maybe there's a BNL soundtrack. Who knows? But it was they did one or two.
They wrote that song for the movie.
Yeah. And then there was also a Five for Fighting song on there.
Yes, they do a cover of it's a very emo soundtrack. I feel like Zach Braff picked out the soundtrack.
Yeah, I think he did too, because there's a song that my wife recognized. She goes, "That's in Scrubs too." Zach Braff must have loved that song.
Yeah, I remember he picked out the soundtrack for Garden. Remember when everyone thought Zach Braff was going to be like a huge deal? Remember he did Garden State?
But all me and my friends always didn't like him because we were cool.
Well, I never liked him either. But I remember like so I was at Caroline's back then, and everyone was like, he's the future of comedy. Didn't do shit. You know that's Jessica Kirsten's stepbrother.
I didn't know that.
Well, now you do. You know Jessica Kirsten.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good job. So Jessica Kirsten shows up. No, I'm joking. So he tries out for baseball. There's a montage of him trying to play baseball and being bad.
But he is a bad player. The coach shouldn't put him in. He is actually not good. No,
he's not good. And no one, he would not have gotten on the team in any other universe.
No, and the fox is on deck, and there's like a big, right? It's like the big at-bat scene, and the coach is like, "Don't swing," which is good coaching.
Yeah.
At that age, like get the base.
Yeah. But the chicken swings, right?
Yeah, two strike. Like he swings super late, and it's like strike one, strike two. Well, you got to assume pitch number 3's coming up.
Yeah. And then
All
he
the
hits
outfield is like grazing.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck because they think this kid's a loser.
Yeah.
But then he actually hits the ball, right?
He hits the ball, and because they're all like goofing off in the outfield, like no one's ready to catch it, and he starts running the wrong way. And that was a funny line in the movie where the announcer's like, he's running the wrong way and he's coming back. I've never said this before, but he's rounding home. And I thought that was like a good little moment.
That was funny. But he manages to win the game, which is weird to me because like we're only like a half hour in and he won the big game. He kind of proved to his dad, I'm just as good as I think I am.
Yeah.
Win the big game. Everybody loves him. And it's like, well, what?
But, the Fox is really mad. The Fox is like, what the hell? Like, whoa, like upset. And it's like, this is your team. You just won the game. What are you talking? Why are you so upset? Yeah. It's like, shouldn't you be happy?
Yeah, like, I would assume she's going to get an athletic scholarship because she's a star player. And
it had no effect on her because she wasn't at bat.
Well,
she couldn't have won the game.
Okay, but she was on the team with the Chicken Little, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're teammates, and they didn't get along, I guess.
So him and the dad finally are friends. All the conflict in this movie now has been resolved, and it's a half hour in, which is weird.
And they're like shove it under. The ugly duckling keeps pushing for closure.
Mm-hmm.
Closure. You need closure. It's like, okay, someone went for one therapy session.
Yeah, but I don't know any kids that have these conversations, by the way. I don't know any kid who's like, you need closure with your dad. No, I've never had that.
I'm glad you don't know any kids, Ray.
Well, when I was a kid, I never had that conversation with another kid. I don't know. Did you ever have to you need closure with your parents? Did you ever say that to your friends?
All the time.
Well,
yeah, I had a normal childhood, Ray.
So you talked about your therapy problems with your friend. Okay.
Yeah.
So he's about to go talk to his dad when the fucking sky falls on him again.
Yeah, and all his friends are there. No. Not
he calls them. They're karaokeing to Spice Girls.
Yeah, which is such a great joke in 2005.
I know, that was weird. That was weird now. It must have been really weird in 2005.
It was. They had totally waned. I think they were out of the zeitgeist, weren't they?
Mm-hmm. I think they're supposed to make fun of. I think it's making fun of that these kids are such losers that they're listening to the Spice Girls.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah. So he calls them over.
Steve Zahn.
For the ship.
The big pig.
The big pig. Well, he's called to run to the litter, right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And they discover there's aliens in the town. Oh, because the aliens kidnap fish out of water.
No, well, the octagon falls out of the ship and it just lands in his bedroom for no reason.
Yeah.
Then fish out of water, being the cool one, actually figures out what it does and pushes the button and goes up into the ship with his glow stick sticking out of it, because that makes sense.
Yeah, and then like they track down the ship and and fish out of water gets out of it, and he rings the bell again.
Yes.
The aliens escape. They leave a little
because the bell ringing hurts their ears or something. It's like very abrasive to them, and the whole town comes and like sees no invisible ship. Yeah.
And they see no ship, and they're all like, Chicken Little, you're a fucking asshole again. And again, he's traumatized. But they find a baby. They find a little baby who's actually, I'm surprised.
Yeah, but also, like, the friends didn't come to his defense. Where were his friends in this? They had all seen it, and then they were like not there to help.
Wasn't there a thing that you can't say you saw it because the aliens put a spell on them or something?
No.
Because at the beginning of the movie, he couldn't
like
speak.
that.
Oh, sorry. I thought there was a
No,
spell.
he was just flustered.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That's all.
I thought the aliens put a code into them where they can't say we see a ship.
No, you're giving the movie too much credit.
All right. Okay. Sorry about that. So there's a little orange baby. No one believes that there's an alien invasion. They all tell Chicken Little, go fuck yourself. And
the baby was fun. A little cute, like 3-eyed character where the eyes all rotate. That's fun. Bit.
I'm surprised they didn't make plushies of that baby. Maybe they did. I don't know. I was 25.
It was it was not a popular enough movie to get that much merch out of.
I was still pretending that I was an adult at 25. Now I'm just like embracing my childhood again. Can I tell you, when I was, I used to buy, let me just tell you this real quick. Because when I was like...
Something that won't surprise me at all.
It might. When I was like 14, 15, I like gave up buying toys. Like, fuck toys. I'm going to go buy toys. It's time to fuck bitches. And I never fucked bitches. But what happened was I met a guy who sold wrestling figures when I was working at Caroline's, and he would hook me up. He would just throw me wrestling figures. I kept them in the package. And then when I quit being the manager of Caroline's, I had no money coming in because I couldn't collect unemployment back then because I quit. And I started selling figures on eBay. And I was making so much fucking money selling figures on eBay. And I was just like, why the fuck did I ever grow up? I could be making so much more money if I kept buying action figures from when I was 14.
You could also make money by growing up and getting a real job too.
Well, also you could, Mr. Comedy Store buddy, but we're comics.
Yeah.
You can't have. Are you still working at the store?
We are furloughed.
Okay. Now, do you think you what do you think is the future of the store? You think it's going to come back, or do you think like Los Angeles is really?
Wow, this Chicken Little podcast took a left turn.
We're
the
gonna get back
Comedy
to
Store in LA. I think they're open right now as a bar on certain nights. I don't know if it's every night, but it's just a weird. I don't know.
But do you think it's going to be like? Because when I went, it was just I loved it. I got to admit, I fell in love with that place the moment I walked in, and
it can be a really great place, and it can be quite a dark place, and it can all happen simultaneously.
Well, here's the thing about that place, though. I feel like the thing about Caroline's is, I mean, you worked there for like a day, and it's become just nothing but a dark place. Before even, it's just constant negativity. No comedians hang out. The thing I like about
it's not really a hangout place. It didn't. No, there's not a really like they'd hang in the lounge or something.
Yes, and then like they all got weird about that. And I don't just like in 2003 it was a hangout place. And like Patrice would sit at the bar all night and hang out, and so with Rich Voss. I mean, I used to have bullshit with Bill Burr in 2004. Like he would just we would all just, having my staff meal. I would sit with Bill Burr. That doesn't happen. I mean, Bill Burr's not, but the new Bill Burrs aren't doing that. They're hanging out other places like the Stand. But I got the sense at the store, even when it's like being negative or toxic, there's still like a sense of camaraderie, and you get to hang out. People aren't pretending that they're running a hospital. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're pretty right, Ray. Good job.
Thanks, buddy. Well, because Caroline sometimes, this is what I never was really.
Caroline's was way too corporate when I worked there for a day at the phones, and they didn't let me like do any. I knew I would be bad at that job, and I didn't want to like it. I was cutting off the snake's head there by like.
I kind of thought that Lewis took a liking to Lance Weiss and then just threw Lance like 1,000 spots, and it helped him. And I kind of thought he was going to do that with you because not that you remind me of Lance Weiss. Do you know who Lance Weiss is?
No.
Okay.
He seems great.
He loves you, by the way. I kind of thought the reason why I told you to take that job is I thought Lewis would like, because if Lewis really likes you, he gives you like 1 million spots, and if he thinks you're okay, you get like 1 spot a year. Then I would have told you to leave, but I thought he was going to like just start throwing you spots, like making it rain.
No, it was very nice. If I had another job there besides like the phones, which you need every detail and of the whole club, and I was like, I don't know that much about this place, and I got thrown into the sharks right away. If I had been like just a door guy or like helped clean up something, like or whatever, that could have been better.
But when I was at the store, everything that I think Caroline's can be, because I think Caroline's under the right management and under the right guidance could be the best fucking club in the world.
It could. It's in the wrong part of town, though.
I think even in that part of town, you could do it. I think so.
Right. It's Times Square right there. It's not cool.
Well, I mean, yes, but you can make it cool.
It's not a cool area.
Times Square is
down the street from the M&M store and the only Olive Garden in the city.
Listen, I was there when people would it's about to come back. The city's falling apart. The M&M store is about to shut down because there's going to be like 20 shootings while you fucking get your M&Ms. In the 80s, Times Square was cool. It was dangerous, but it was cool. Like artists going out there.
It's different.
It's different now. It's way.
So you think it's coming back? The recession's going to bring back how terrible?
Oh, dude, Sheba Mason
Times
got
Square
punched.
was.
Sheba Mason got like a punch in the back of the head 2 weeks ago in the middle of the day. Like it's
Jeez.
getting bad again. Like I haven't been to the city since March. I haven't been to Manhattan since March. I've stayed in Astoria, but I've heard. I think it's going to go back to the way it was. I think the M&M store is going to be like, we're getting the fuck out of here. No tourists are going to be going to the M&M store anymore. I don't even know how to keep the M&M store afloat because.
Well, they have all that Mars money.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. Unless there's, like, a couple of families that live in Manhattan, like, we got to go ball out the M&M store. But I don't know how during this, because that is such a tourist destination.
And it's like, candy buffet. It's really gross. Everyone's putting their hands in all the jars and stuff.
Well, can I be honest, when they opened that, I was like, they got to have other stuff in this store. I can't, they opened it up in 2006. And I'm
throw
like,
me a Skittle.
There's no way this is going to last because the M&M store, if no one's ever been to it, it is 3 floors. It is a serious fucking store. You could cure cancer with this amount of real estate. You could build a lab that has a time machine. This is how big this fucking store is.
It could be put to much better use, yes.
And literally all it is M&Ms and M&M, not like even different flavored M&Ms, not even like, you can't even it would be one thing if you went there and you get like sriracha M&Ms or like, and crazy M&Ms, like tofu M&Ms, like just some crazy M&M shit.
Yeah.
It's just the M&Ms you can get. Dude, if you go in the store, there's
garlic aioli. M&M.
Yeah, something like that. No, there's nothing like that. It is just pure M&Ms, M&M merchandise, and they make a fucking killing, which to me is insane. This is a true story.
And they mark up everything, I'm sure.
Yes, this is a true story. I'm not making this up. So there's a newsstand directly in front of the M&M store, and they sell bags of M&Ms for $1. You walk into the M&M store, the bag of M&Ms that's $1 is $5 in the M&M store, and people are buying it. It makes no fucking sense that this is a success, but it is.
It was a success for a while, man. It's really fantastic. When I was barking in Times Square, I would see people just coming out with bags of M&M, like big shopping bags, and I'd be like, this is not a good use of your money. But also, one of my favorite things when I was barking, I overheard this family, this cute Midwestern loser family. They were looking at everything like, wow. And then one of the daughter, who's probably like 13 or 14, goes, oh my God, they have an Olive Garden here. It's like, I get it when you're there, your family, but like you got to have that in your hometown too.
Well, my mom, when my family came to town in 2001, they wanted to go to the Olive Garden. We took them. And the view, ever since then, my mom liked that Olive Garden because of the view of the city. Have you ever been there?
I've never been to one.
Okay. Well, no,
never
the one
been
in
to any
Square.
Olive Garden.
Well, I didn't want to go, but my mom, so I went after 9/11, me and my mom went. My mom wanted to go just to look at the city because she was sad. And it is a nice view of the city. The Olive Garden in Times Square is a very nice view of the city. So I would go there with my mom when she was like sad, and we'd look out into the city. And it was like an affordable way to like stare at Manhattan. So I'll give it that Olive Garden. But every other Olive Garden,
sure.
Yeah, it was a nice view, and like sitting there like
Never
right after
9/11. I get it. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. The food was
comfort.
Shit. No, the view. I like the view. It was nice. She would like sit there and like reminisce about like.
That's my New York, Times Square Olive Garden.
Yeah, that's but you feel like Batman. I don't know. Anyway, so let's get back.
Chicken Little, good.
Let's get back to this fucking movie.
I guess I think I wrote like 15 minutes in. I wrote this note. How much longer in this movie? And I had like an hour and 10 minutes left.
Dude, that's how I got with Cars. Is a 2 hour. When I put on Cars, I was like, this movie's got to be 90 minutes or 80 minutes. How much could you do with fucking talking cars? The first Cars movie is 2 hours long, and you feel it. And I'm like, how is this movie popular? Because you feel every minute of those 2 fucking hours of cars yelling at each other.
Larry the tow truck, right?
Larry the cable guy. He's Mater in the movie. Show some respect. Right?
Mater, I believe, right?
Mater D? I don't know.
No,
Mater.
Yeah, Mater Dunn.
So there's an alien invasion, and this was exciting because I thought like, oh, maybe this has become like a fucking action movie. Yeah, so the aliens are chasing them. They're zapping They zap the fucking mayor.
When they zap the fox, the fox again, great character. First one to throw a rock at the alien. First one to actually attack the alien back and like defend the planet Earth. I think.
Yeah, she wasn't fucking around.
No, and then they zap her, and you think like, oh my god, she's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just like makes her immaterial. What is it? It vaporizes her.
Vaporizes, and they vaporize John Knott's turkey, the turkey that was Don Knotts.
Yeah, they just like vaporize all these, and then I'm like, okay, now it's a good movie. Now they're killing characters.
And then Chicken Little and his dad, they run up to the roof of a building and they hold up the baby. They get pulled into the ship.
The Chicken Little has to convince his dad to trust him.
That's it's a big moment. Trust me, Dad.
Trust me. You never trust me. And they get closure in the middle of this alien invasion, which is absolutely not the time.
Oh, guess who's the fox, by the way? I don't know if you picked up on this.
Who?
Amy Sedaris.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that's
she's
cool.
Good. Yeah.
And Steven Zahn.
Steve Zahn is the big pig, and Joan Cusack is Ugly Duckling, which I think, it's an all-star cast. I would watch a regular movie with them.
They had a huge cast. So Chicken Little like does a thing with his hair. He fucking gets to the roof. He holds up the baby.
Mm-hmm.
They get put into the ship, and then we find out that the alien ship are just like this nice married couple, and they're
no one was there. It was a nice invasion. They're not like with impunity vaporizing people. They just wanted their kid back, and it was like a rescue mission, and they come
to the town for acorns, right? They like the acorns.
Yeah, the town. Oh, this was one of the things that drove me crazy. The town is called Okie Oaks.
Yeah, why'd that drive you crazy?
It sucks.
Okay, that's it's a very kiddie name.
It's just everything is bad about this movie. They didn't put effort into the jokes at all. There's like 5 good jokes in this goddamn movie.
Well, I'll say this. When I first saw this movie, I was expecting the biggest piece of shit on the planet, and I was surprised that it was passable. The second rewatch was not kind to me, especially because
you watched it twice.
Well, I watched it to see who am I going to pick for these movies, and then I rewatched it last night.
So you've seen all these movies.
Yes, I can't. I have to see these movies to do a podcast about them. I can't.
But you've seen them all twice.
Yes, I'm gonna have to eventually. Well, some of them I don't mind. Like Toy Story, I've seen like 6 times in my life. I'd gladly watch that 2 more times.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this was a rough second watch. This was like, oh, this wasn't that good at all. Actually, when I watched
this was a bad movie, Ray.
It was.
I have notes Chicken Little was stupid. Like he's just a stupid person, like character. He does everything wrong. He showed the dad the octagon. Why aren't you showing the dad the thing? Like the dad comes in the room and he hides the alien technology instead of holding it up to him and going, right? See?
Well, yeah. Well, because if he did that, the movie. I hate movies that make the characters act stupid because if they acted smart, the movie would end in 15 seconds.
Yeah, right. It's just
this is one of those movies. Yeah. The animation was very poorly done.
Yeah, it's VeggieTales. It's just I've never seen it, but I've seen previews of it. I'm Jewish, so I don't need it. They also changed the fox's personality.
Yes, at the end she becomes basically a girl.
She was a tomboy, and they make her a girly girl. And then they're like, no, we like her like this. Don't change her back. Don't give her any agency. Take away her whole personality.
Doesn't the pig just take off with her like she's gonna be his love slave?
Yeah, and yes, the big ass pig is like, no, she's perfect like this, and it's like, why can't she be perfect like herself?
There's a lot of interspecies fucking in this movie. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, and no hybrid kids.
No, but Chicken Little, Ugly Duckling are gonna have some weird fucking children.
Yeah, and that's a pretty close match of duck and chicken.
I know, but when the pig and the wolf start fucking,
natural enemies.
That's weird. That's
someone's gonna blow their house down. I'll tell you that much.
Someone's gonna blow something up.
Yeah.
Steven Zahn. She basically, you could not fly with that ending nowadays. People would see.
Yeah.
Steven's on. Yeah, people would be fucking livid that the girl that the one strong female character is just turned into like a sex slave.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not happy about it. It's really weird. It's really bad. It's not nice.
No, I think
And
this
then
movie.
at the end of the movie, the big finale thing is ain't no mountain high enough.
Yes, and they make another movie where Chicken Little is played by Adam West. In an
Yeah,
action
and he's
film.
like a super but like he's killing all these aliens and it's like ain't no mountain high. And it's like this song makes no sense in this context at all. This is a song about like do anything for love and you're like shooting aliens. It's not like there ain't no mountain high enough that I can't kill aliens over. Like it's just what is this? Like I will always trek through valleys and mountains to kill aliens.
Well, even like they had like an '80s song during the training montage, and even that was like it was all over the place. This movie.
Yeah. On Apple Music, the Chicken Little soundtrack, not all the tracks are available.
Which ones? What is some artists for like?
There's just like ones that like are clearly there, but the cover of "Ain't No Mountain High Enough" is on there, and the Bare Naked Ladies song is on there.
Okay. I was trying to find a cover. And I was like, surely somebody covered the Bare Naked Ladies song. Nobody's ever covered that song. But the Shake Your Tail Feather song that the Cheetah Girls do during the end credits. I don't know if you remember that. The Cheetah Girls.
Yeah, I didn't know that was the song. Yeah.
That Ray Charles was a version of that. So that will be the opening song.
You said Ray Charles?
Ray Charles did the original version of that song, Shake Your Tail Feather. The Cheetah Girls do it at the end of this movie.
I see what you're saying. Yes.
That was when, they were still trying to get these Disney stars.
Oh boy, yeah, this movie. I'm really mad you chose me for this movie.
Why?
It was such a waste of time. Like my wife was my huge flex. She's super hot. But like she couldn't even nap through it. It was so bad.
Well, because the voices too are so like, oh, yeah, everyone's like kind of yelling their lines at each other.
Yeah, and there was one moment where someone got bonked on the head, and they did like the screen changed to orange with yellow like pound sign and question mark and exclamation mark and stuff. And I was like, it's just a Looney Tunes bit. They just took like a Looney Tunes thing and made it. And it's so distorted and all over the place. It doesn't know what it is.
No,
this is a really bad movie.
I think they wanted to be like, we're not making another Cinderella. This is what I think they were like. We're not making another Cinderella. We're not gonna make another fucking Lion King. We're just gonna make a goofy movie, like an episode of The Simpsons, like something like that. Adult Swim, because Adult Swim was getting big. We're gonna make something like that, but Disney. And it fell. And then it turned out people do want like The Little Mermaid from Disney. They want that shit. That's why Frozen makes so much money.
But they still had only one parent that was unexplained.
Well, was that in Walt Disney's will, because that was Moana was the first movie to have both parents alive. By the way,
is that true? Wow.
Yeah.
Is that actually true, or?
I'm trying to think of some other the ones. Yeah.
Oh wow, Toy Story. There's no dad, huh?
There's no dad. But that was made by Pixar, though. I mean, originally.
Yeah, but it was produced.
Even the new one, Onward, which I watched last night, there's no dad.
Onward, I liked actually.
I couldn't get too into it. Did you ever see Coco?
Yeah.
That I love, because that's.
I didn't. What? I was mad on Coco. I don't like the singing, man.
See, it's different for me because I didn't know my family until we saw each other last. I knew them, but I didn't know them.
Didn't you go to Mexico? And that was like a big thing?
Yes, I did. I met I only met 3 people that are still in Mexico. Majority of them are in LA. And then when I got to see Mexico City, and I got to see my dad was actually grew up in a fancy neighborhood, which I always thought he grew up in like a shithole. That's what the thing he grew up like he grew up in like Fifth Avenue in Mexico City.
Oh,
and then I got to meet my whole family, and I saw this movie, and my dad loved Mexico City. He always wanted to go back. So the movie really got to me.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it does pulse differently if you're not Mexican.
I mean, maybe I'll rewatch it, but maybe I won't, because there's a lot of other things and bad things going on in the world. But
well, you could always watch if you want to. What else have you seen Inside Out?
Yeah, didn't like that one much.
I didn't really like that either. I thought that was
Yeah,
cool.
everyone loves that one. You know, we tried to do it. I stupidly got.
Why do you have Disney Plus if you hate everything?
I got Disney Plus because I really want to watch Mandalorian, and
Okay, that is good.
that was good enough. It was like
Yeah.
fine. It scratched a little itch that was really nice, but like, tried to rewatch Up, and I remember going, Up is the best. Up really is like one of the good ones, and blah, 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 and it's not. It's really like a badly plot. It's like I don't know. We couldn't make it through. It
You
was
know
just
what one
not
is?
good.
You know what one is
But
fucking good? Is Wall-E.
never seen that one.
That one's good.
I gotta see that one.
That one's very
Ratatouille, big
good.
fan of.
Which one?
Ratatouille.
Oh, you know why I like that movie? Because it's very
That's a
honest.
great movie.
It's very honest about how a kitchen staff is. It doesn't hold punches, and it's like they're brutal. Like sometimes you work in a comedy club.
Is that Pixar?
That's Pixar, Ratatouille.
Yeah, that's so much better than Chicken Little. Like 20,000 times better. It's
and that's
ridiculous.
why Disney bought Pixar. Yeah.
Yeah, a good move.
Yeah, because they were gonna go another company, and they were like, "Well, fuck it, we gotta buy them." You know, and then John Lasseter took over both studios. And then starting with the next movie, which I'm going to cover next week, Meet the Robinsons, the Disney films start becoming more Pixar-esque. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never saw like Princess and the Frog and stuff like that. That was recent for me.
That I wanted to ask Janelle James, the dude. You know Janelle James?
No.
Okay. Well, I wanted to ask her, and she made a status like, "Why everybody asks me to do their podcast? I'm busy or something." And I'm like, "Well, I guess I'm not going to ask her to do my podcast." Okay.
Yeah, well,
so you
don't have to get someone that looks like the main character of the movie to do the movie, like how you did for me and Chicken Little, and how you're doing for Princess and the Frog.
I had a girl who's 22 years old who grew up with this fucking thing and thinks it's the best movie in the world, and she would have been with a Chicken Little hat on, but I can't get her any more spots at Caroline's during a pandemic, so just want to talk about Chicken Little, I guess. I don't.
But I'm glad you're not bitter about it.
I'm not bitter. No. It was, but you know what it is with some people? It's like, look, like literally, like you were.
How dare someone want something from me?
No, but like, I hate when people respond to you every 3 seconds about everything, and then you ask them like a question, like, "Hey, in 4 weeks, can we record a Chicken Little podcast?" Like I mentioned to you months ago. Well, how about an answer like, "Hey, I'm just way too busy. I don't think I could ever do a Chicken Little podcast." Okay, that's cool. No problem. Ask somebody else. Just like to not answer. It's like, well, now I know where you stand. You know.
Yeah, I'm desperate enough. I don't do Zoom shows, but I'll do anyone's podcast at any time.
I think this was a good podcast. Now, are you?
I'm very funny.
I think it's I'd rather have you shitting on the movie. If you're fucking a funny guy. I always thought you were funny.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Do you think I should move to LA? I've been thinking about moving. I've been thinking about moving. Well, here's the reason why. I like the store. Stop laughing. I'll tell you.
Yeah, you and Alan Fuchs can move out here.
No, not him. No. I like the store. I like the vibe. And also my whole family's out there. So like I'm here like alone. So like I basically am like, at least out there, like okay, I have a bad set at the Improv or something. At least I go home and my family, I could go eat with my family later. Like here I have a bad set. I just go home and jerk off.
Well, you can't do that now during the pandemic.
I know, but down the road. That's what I'm saying. What do you think? Do you like it out there?
I mean, I hated New York. I love LA, and I liked my time there, but that's as good as it ever got. And like, it's just not I didn't like the vibe. If you're gonna come to LA and just complain about LA the whole time, don't come.
Well, I'm gonna live in Bellflower, me and my family, and commute in. That's.
Oh, so you're not going to LA? You're just going to some part of California.
No, well, Bellflower is like living. Well, it's like the same distance that Long Island is from like the city, so I don't think it's that. Far.
That's pretty far.
I mean, well, not to me. I mean, it's a 45.
For a commute if you're trying to go into LA all the time, yeah.
Well, my
and especially when it's non-pandemic stuff, you're gonna there's so much more traffic. You're gonna hate. Do you drive? I know you're.
Well, I gotta learn, but that's why I cleared out my driveway. I cleared it out recently.
You're gonna.
I don't know.
Try to move like 10 feet in either direction.
Look, my cousin works as an accountant in LA and lives in Bellflower, and he's like 30. He's like your age, about. He likes it. He doesn't complain.
It's a great city. It has some of the best food in the world. Everyone says there's no culture here. It's all fake
No,
boobs
there's
and whatever.
culture.
And it's like, yeah, you can find everything all the time in LA. It's the weather you can't beat, and it's very different from New York. And who knows?
Yeah, well, that's why I want to move
I'm
over
glad
there.
we're
Because
talking about this on the podcast
well, no,
about
this is
Disney
good.
movies.
No, see, my listeners know this podcast. Okay, so I'll give you. Let's talk again about Chicken Little. Originally, Chicken Little was supposed to be a girl. Do you think it would have made the movie better? What do you think?
No.
Although it would have made more sense the rivalry if it was a girl chicken and a girl wolf rather than a boy.
The
chicken.
rivalry. I think the rivalry wouldn't have made the rivalry didn't make sense anyway. They just didn't like each other. That was really what it was.
Yeah,
it's
they
like,
really
you don't
get
have
into
to
it.
like everybody.
She didn't have enough lines too. She was just like, "I'm a cunt. I don't like you."
And they played dodgeball terribly. They didn't understand the rules of that game. They all got hit. And
I don't think the
stayed
director
in.
understood the rules of a lot of things.
Yeah, and then it turns out the unpopular kids were also good. Like the Duckling and Chicken Little are catching all these balls that no, they're out. They should be out. Are they good or are they bad at this game?
The other weird thing about this movie is most Disney movies original songs. This was a weird soundtrack. They picked some weird fucking they almost somebody hit shuffle on their iPad, and then they just went and bought the rights to those songs.
Yeah, it's they really
Don't Go Breaking My Heart. That was weird. Is that the director of Chicken Little coming to kill you? Who are you to shit on my movie? That's all I have left in my life.
I really still resent you for picking this movie for me.
Listen, if I move to LA, we could pitch Chicken Little 2 to Disney Plus. What do you think? They'll tell us we're too old.
Yeah, Chicken Littler.
Chicken Littlest.
Yeah.
They actually were gonna make a sequel, and when Pixar was bought, the head of Pixar was absolutely fucking not, and he ripped up the script, and then they made it. Are you out of your fucking mind, Chicken Little? And then I think he said make Tangled.
Let's kill this franchise. Yeah.
Let's get back to princesses. I never know. Whenever Disney strays from the princesses, they bomb. Mm-hmm. And I'm just
I saw Brave for the first time. Brave was very good, actually.
I don't know. I actually like Frozen better than Brave. They're almost the same movie, to be honest.
I never saw the Frozen. I'll watch that one.
I mean, Frozen is the princess stuff, and I know you don't like singing. It's a lot
of singing, right? Yeah.
Not that much as you would think. People think the movie's all singing, and then it's not as much singing. But the jokes are good, so.
Hamilton was awful.
You know who's fucking annoying in that movie? That fat guy, Josh Gad. He sucks.
In which movie?
What'd you say?
Frozen?
Hold on.
Josh Gad?
Say it again.
In which movie? Josh Gad? I don't know.
Oh, he's in Frozen. He plays Olaf the Snowman.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry, I fucked around with my headphones. I couldn't hear you for a second. Sorry. I'm a professional here.
Yeah. That's all my notes on on Chicken Little. I took notes for this podcast. I did work.
Yeah.
I researched. Because I respect you.
You did a lot of research on Chicken Little, man. I'm glad that we did Chicken Little. Let me ask you a question, Luke. What is your prediction? Hold on one second. Can you say something real quick?
Say something real quick.
Luke, give me 1 second. Well, it's been 2 years. Okay, so real quick, we're gonna wrap it up. Luke, let me ask you a question. What's your prediction for the rest of the year in terms of comedy, Corona, LA, New York? What do you think?
My Oscar predictions. Well, who am I gonna snub? Who am I gonna flub?
No, Corona predictions.
Corona predictions. Got it. I really don't know. I stopped predicting things once Donald Trump, ever heard of him, got elected. Yes. I was so sure that Americans would really not do that. And the Corona prediction, I mean, once there's a vaccine, I hope these anti-maskers are not also anti-vaxxers, which I bet they are.
I think they are.
There's a lot of stuff. It's just very odd to me that the people who say, just listen to the cops and listen to the rules and you'll be fine, are not listening to the rules and not wearing their masks, and everything is worse.
Yeah.
I don't know what's gonna happen. The Corona predictions. I don't know when stand-up is coming back for real. I don't know when. Like, I think the industry might. I mean, obviously took a huge hit, and we, and a couple of people, even while not doing comedy, have gotten canceled, which is pretty interesting as well.
Oh yeah, Chris D'Elia. Did you ever see Chris D'Elia bringing a high schooler at the store? What do you think?
We carded every girl that came in with him, and they were all over 21 and all very annoying.
Well, yeah, they were annoying at Caroline's too, but
yeah, I mean, and he, yeah, I don't know, man. He was a black comic, but he was a white male. I don't know what to tell you.
Jesus Christ, you are. I think that stand up is done at the earliest until January. I don't know how LA is gonna be, but like with your numbers going up like this, it's gonna take a while to get those numbers down.
Yeah, and like I have friends who like are conspiracy theorists now and all this stuff. And it's just like I mean the world is I have no predictions. I don't know, right?
Okay.
I just know that I'm a funny, nice guy.
You're a great guy. You should have became famous in New York, but Luke. But now you're gonna become famous in LA. Luke, is there anything you want to plug? Give us your podcast, your
the L8 Night Show on Twitter and Instagram. With the 8, so it's late night show, but it's L8. Everything else spelled normally. Also, I'm at Luke Does Stuff on Twitter, and I haven't posted anything on Instagram for months, so don't even worry about that.
Okay. Guys, this is your first time listening to any podcast because you're a fan of Chicken Little. First of all, I feel sorry for you.
Oh, and check me out. Wait, real quick. Check me out on I did a set on The Ringers, the Bill Burr show, so you can check that out.
Oh, you're on The Ringers?
Central. Yeah.
Wow, that's fucking dope, man.
Yeah, you booked me even without knowing my credit. That's really nice, Ray.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious. Like you did it. You
didn't promote that though, did you?
I talked about it quite often. Yeah.
On Facebook?
Yeah, I think so.
You gotta post more like me. You gotta post about Batman and Toy Story.
I don't know if I have to.
And then you could. Oh, by the way, also Ringer, and everyone will see. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's great. Dude, I'm proud.
The Ringers.
What?
I was the Ringers.
Yeah, that's great, man. I'm proud of you, dude. I'm really happy you got that. So, but listen, I mean, the world's over, and nothing's ever going to come of that. But it's great. No, I'm fucking. Listen.
Yeah, no, I don't know what stand-up specials they're producing after this, but Comedy Central seems to be folding.
Ricky Velez. It's funny, they signed Ricky Velez. Do you remember him?
Yeah.
They signed him to an HBO deal for a TV series and a special. And they're like, oh, we'll record both when the pandemic ends. And I'm like, that basically means you didn't get signed to anything.
He got a holding deal. He got an old-fashioned holding deal.
He's going to be held for quite a while with this fucking virus killing us.
Oh, bummer.
Listen, guys, if this is your first time listening to the podcast, if you tuned in, whether you're a Disney fan, Chicken Little fan, Luke Schwartz fan, Zach Braff, what have you, we do this show every week. We started with Snow White. We're going straight to Frozen 2. Right now we're in 2005. Check out the archive. There's a favorite Disney film of yours. Me and Great Comic have covered it. Please subscribe to us on iTunes, Goose's Disney Pod. Also follow us on Instagram, Tumblr, and Twitter, Goots Disney Pod. And follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, Ray Goose. I'm much funnier on Facebook than I'm on Twitter. Twitter is just really it's for racists and people who like to.
Facebook, that's so interesting because Facebook is for old friends and family to me.
I kill it on
Twitter
Facebook.
Is for jokes.
I kill it. Twitter, I
used to post just stuff like I would do a funny take. I would be like, got a show tonight. That was like a fun Facebook.
Well, the funniest thing the thing you post on Facebook a lot is the lineup for the soup show. What is that?
The potluck.
Potluck, the soup show.
Yeah, every Monday, the soup show. I like that name for a show. Yeah, we were getting, before the pandemic, I mean, the average was about 170 people signing up for 16 slots. We got over 200 a couple times.
Jesus Christ. I remember you told me to come down I was going to come down that one Monday because my flight got delayed. And then my family basically, LAX is a horror show. It takes forever to get in. You can't do a show.
Yeah,
and then I said, then I won't go do it. And then LAX, I got in literally within seconds, and I sat there for hours, and I was like, I probably could have done potluck, but whatever. It's not meant to be. Luke, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Yeah, this is fun, man.
appreciate it. And guys, tune in next week. It's going to be Meet the Robinsons with Sky Radcliffe Grayson, a new comedian who still messages me after I got banned from Caroline. So that's nice. What?
You're just on this the whole time. You're still so bitter.
Just say I can't do it. I don't know. It takes 3 seconds. I think I can't do the
Bye,
podcast.
Ray.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, Luke.